Hey guys, this is Rob Goebel, also known as Archery Rob. I'm practicing another self-sufficient gardening video here, and remember, you're only as free as your food supply. So if you're practicing prepping or whatever, you will only last as long as you can grow food for yourself. And if you just store food and don't have a way of reproducing it, if really come to shove, you'll run out of food. So this is all about self-sufficiency. So on to the video. Hey guys, this is a garden walkthrough. I'm trying to prepare, to be able to grow my own food. People talk about prepping, and in my opinion, everybody's grabbing bullets and guns and short-term food supply, and I've always said, if you can't live like it's 1800s, you can't live. So, and I'm practicing that. I'm trying to grow some of my own food, and might not be doing the best, but I'm learning. Each year I'm going to get a little better. Like I said, if you can't provide yourself your own food, if it comes to shit hits the fan kind of thing, you're shit out of luck. So I'm gonna walk through what I'm doing at the moment and see what else we can get. All right, so here's an overview of my garden. This is stand of kale. That's about 56 plants. I got to start picking it, but it's actually growing pretty good. It's done well with the drought and everything. Then over here, I got a row of squash, or zucchini squash, and then scallop squash, and then zucchinis, and then scallop squash. Trying out the scallop squash this year. I've never grown them before. Trying to grow more squashes. And then here's my onions. I tried to grow onions last year, and it was absolutely ridiculous. The weeds took over. I didn't water them enough. I gave up on them. They kind of died right where they were, and every one of these here is volunteers. There used to be 5 rows. There was a row that went down there, and they were later planted, and they never did too well. There was a row over here, right here, that used to be there, and it kind of died off. And then the second row back there is going to be dying. And I got 3 rows, but they're doing pretty good. I think they're going to have to get harvested soon. But and then I got my tomatoes here. These are how I normally grow cherry tomatoes. I got a piece of 4x4 fence on 2x8s that are held in with, or 2x2s that are 8 foot long. And then this is a section of cattle panel bent over in half, and grow them on there. We get a crap load of cherry tomatoes. I just put some extra tomatoes on a piece of fence bent, and hold on, I'll show you these other ones in a second. There we go. I got 3 cattle panels. They're about 1 foot off the ground and on stakes, and the tomatoes grow pretty good in them. Got them woven in there. I just weave the tomatoes in there, and they're starting to get ready to produce. But 4 foot spaced on center, and they do pretty good. But in the back there, you can see this is the plan, was to switch. Those are blue leg green beans, pole beans, and the plan was to grow beans over there this year. Next year, grow beans over here, and then tomatoes over there. And as you can see real well, those blue leg beans are growing like wildfire. I mean, it's so much that it's hard to get between them. They're trying to grow together. You can see them at the top. Let me go over the other side over here. Look at these things. They are growing out the top. See these runners? They grow over and they grab the fence there like that. And this one's running out here to grab a hold of everything. Look at them. I've already gone through with scissors and snipped all these off. They're still growing. Just like crazy. Here's some beans right there, ready to be harvested. We picked some off the other day. So yeah, this is my garden in my yard, and then I'm also growing in the neighbor's garden over here. I'll cover this one in a second. Over here at the top of the garden, this is Sol's Evergreen. sweet corn. I'm trying to go with all heritage varieties, so I can save seed and do everything myself. But I was trying to go with the Three Sisters approach, and you can see it's hard to see in the shade, but there's a bean there, and there's a bean there, and there's a couple beans over there, and then there's spaghetti squash right there, and a couple beans there. The idea was to see the beans growing down there and the squash there. The idea is the beans, I guess there are some beans starting to grow now that finally started raining. We had a month of no rain. The idea is that the beans are supposed to grow up, and those are navy beans. They grow up there, and then they add nitrogen to the soil. And I tried rows, and then I got 2 hills, and they're growing better on the hills than they are in the rows. But the ears are just getting ready to start forming. But yeah, we'll see how this turns out. I'll do more on it later. And then here's our row of this. This is a Souls Evergreen here, and then here is jalapenos growing down there, and right, slips of sweet potatoes planted late down there. And then this whole planting, this whole row was to be 2 more rows of potatoes, but I used store-bought instead of blank seed potatoes, and that did not work at all. They pretty much rotted in the ground. So I'm learning as I go here. And those 2 are habaneros. My neighbor really likes hot stuff, and I'm growing those for him. These I've never grown before. My buddy gave me these. I'll be saving the seeds of them. Those are white peppers. I'm gonna see how they grow. So we got 8 of those. And then over here are my green peppers, all the way up and down that line. And then here's the potatoes. I didn't get very good growth down this end, but up this end it did grow better. We're in 14th of July, and they're starting to die back. They'll be ready to dig off soon. And then back there are poblanos. The short ones are the ones I grew. The tall ones I had to buy to replace. Of all things, the damn deer jumps the fence, gets in here, and chews on the peppers because they can't tell what else to eat. So, and then here's another stand of corn. This is Country Gentleman, and this is also planted with navy beans. You can see the beans are starting to come up in there, and then there's some squash. That's spaghetti squash, and they're starting to grow. We had some winds, and you can see it didn't fare too well. Some of them broke, especially there in the middle. They broke. Had some broke over, but they're still alive. But this is growing on the hills too. The hills are doing all right. Let's step back here. It's doing all right in the center, in lines and in hills, but and you can see now that we've got rain, the beans are finally starting to grow. I know there's a lot of shade there, but they're finally starting to grow. And over here, this is the the trial run I got. You can see here, they're starting to grow here. Down there, they're growing some pods. These are pinto beans. Never grown pinto beans before, but I love pinto beans from refried beans. And I got these 7-foot stakes, and this one I ran string through, and it's a test to see how well they do. And this one, they're growing on a cattle panel. So down there, they're falling over. I gotta try to get them up, but they don't seem to naturally grab on. But there you can see there's a whole bunch of pods right here. They're growing too good. Can't pick them till they dry out. But I think I'm gonna get a lot of pinto beans. But I planted a row down each side of the cattle panel, and then a row on each side of this panel here. So I'm trying to decide, because it's all about sustainability. I would like to try to control my own food supply. Hold on. Okay, here is 3 rows of yellow dent. It's the heritage version of yellow dent. Yellow dent is like the field corn that's growing way out there in that field. They planted late after the rye, the rye was harvested. But some of it's taller, first planting got in, and then some of it isn't growing as fast. But I want to be able to can this stuff as hominy, nixtamalize it, and be able to use it as a food source for hominy. So we'll see how this works out. I'll post a video on nixtamalizing and canning as hominy. There's watermelon over here. The weeds are taking it over. See, there's watermelons. They're all planted late, cantaloupes, and the weeds are swallowing them. I don't know what to do with this part. And then this corn here, over there, the same corn here, I had to plant a second planting in there, so there's some smaller ones because it just didn't propagate well. And I actually have butternut squash growing in there, and growing cranberry beans over here. These are, I don't know whether these are bush beans or whether they're going to be, can't see it that well because it's in the shade, but that's probably a squash. But there's squash, every 3 foot there's squash planted. And then next to every plant I put a bean to grow up, but I'm not getting very good luck with this. I think I gotta get it started early. Some of this went in late because it was so damn wet. The neighbor couldn't rototill the garden because it rained all the time. So it's all a learning experience. And this is Hopi blue corn. It's another field corn to use to try to make hominy with, or nixtamalize, and then try and to use for stuff like that. Grind it either to make tamales or to make hominy. Actually, that's what I really want for hominy, because you can't do too much with it other than grind it. So this is what I'm trying here. Like I said, I'm trying to get off of most store-bought food I can, and this is all practicing. My big hope here is with the beans and the corn and the potatoes. So we'll see. It's bloody hot here in Maryland. It's like 95 today. Gonna be 100 this week. The garden's growing. Y'all take care and enjoy. Woo, it's bloody hot. Hey, so you saw the walkthrough of my garden. I will update you guys as the garden grows and show you what I'm successful at and what I'm unsuccessful with. Not sure I know what I'm doing with onions yet. I'm learning on the potatoes. Got some growth, got better growth than I got last year. I got to learn how to grow seed potatoes myself instead of buying them. Do all right, do good with peppers and tomatoes. Found out I'm ridiculously underestimated how much blue leg bush beans will grow. It's gonna be one big ass bush back there, but yeah, I'll update you. I was really hoping for the squash to grow better. I was worried I was gonna be up with using squash, but yeah, they got a late start, and I'm wondering what's going on. So maybe we get some summer rains and they'll grow, or maybe they won't. I don't know.